Welcome to the Hardtech Podcast.
Well, everyone, welcome to the Hardtech Podcast. I'll call After Dark, a joint episode with Venture Declassified. So we have another episode. They'll be dropping here sometime soon. So if you didn't go see that, go check those guys out. They're awesome for what does it take to invest as an angel? What should you be looking for? And honestly, I use it to point all of my founders towards that I'm trying to coach into raising their first rounds. This is what someone's really thinking when they're reviewing your pitch deck or your deal or your conversation. So check those guys out. But we've got Jacob Schpok, Mike Kelly, and Ben Pidgeon with us. I'll ask all of them to go do a brief intro on themselves and their glorious histories that got them here. But today's episode really is about how do hard tech companies differ from software or other investments at the early stage, right? This is your seed, pre-seed, Series A. What metrics are different? How do you measure success differently? And from my side, I'll play the founder. I'm trying to raise money. This is where I'm at. Guys, what do you think? And I want you guys to grill me and tell me what you're really thinking, or vice versa. This is, open season here. But that's kind of the topic today. But Jacob, start off first with your intro.
Awesome. Grant, thank you so much for having us here in your office. This is an awesome studio, first of all. Jacob Schpok, I'm a partner and head of platform at Elevate Ventures. We've invested around $200 million at this point. We have 200 million assets under management. We invest in the pre-seed, seed, and Series A stages. So often venture capital firms will come in after there's a high degree of market validation. What makes us unique is we come in alongside a lot of angels, which is part of the reason that this Venture Declassified podcast was first booted up, is to make sure that the angels that we invest alongside, they're looking at deals the same way that sophisticated capital would look at it as well. And then quickly, my background had some startups, spent some time in government, and just been around the startup world since I got out of college.
Excellent. Mike, you're on deck.
Mike Kelly, software guy by background, run a handful of different software companies from consulting to actual SaaS product companies, and then got started in venture originally as an angel investor, back starting around 2010, writing small checks with some of my other partners, and then more actively with VisionTech, which Ben will talk about here in a little bit. Maybe around 2015, 2016, something like that. Started getting involved in VisionTech as an angel there. And then more formally started in 2020. My co-founder and I, Michael Cloran, Start Something Ventures, which was literally started as a friends and family email list for ourselves and some of our siblings, and then spiraled out of control, and now is a couple hundred accredited investors, mostly here in Indiana, who co-invest with us on a deal-by-deal basis through SSV. In addition to that, I am lucky enough to be an operating partner at Elevate Ventures, and I'm an advisor at the Entrepreneurship Center down in Nashville. I'm an advisor for the Founders Institute up in Chicago, and probably a couple of other things, and so have had exposure to a broad stretch of companies through all of those relationships, and even a little bit with the Heritage Center back when they had their incubator program. Yep. I worked with them, that was very obviously hard tech focused. On the hard tech front specifically, I will say that Ben and Jacob have done way more hard tech investing than we have at SSV. We've done a couple of deals, so I'm happy to talk about how we underwrote those. But and actually, that might even be interesting for your folks if they're coming to an investor who is maybe looking at their first hard tech deal, and how that might be different from an investor who's looked at many of them. But we can get into that when we get there.
I mean, Ben, Mike, that's the only reason you got invited. Like, I needed that perspective. Otherwise, we would have just quietly forgotten to invite you. Deal. All right, Ben.
Thanks for having us. This is an awesome setup for sure. Ben Pidgeon. I'm the managing director for VisionTech. This is a step up in the title there. First time it's crossing my lips, so I've got to practice that a little bit. But thank you for that.
Congrats.
Appreciate
Condolences.
that. Yeah, it's kind of like a congratulations where you shrug your shoulders. Congratulations.
It's only the job you've been doing for 5 years.
Yeah. So I've been doing it 9 years. Thank you.
But were you managing for all 9 of those years?
That's fair. What's the title, anyways?
What is work?
What is work?
We just exist.
Yeah. So 9 years in, and we have a group of about 120 investors, give or take. We're opportunistic, investing across the country. really trying to do strong syndications. We have a group of life science people and engineers. So we'll do life science, enterprise software, ag tech, hard tech, but generally pretty opportunistic. I'm also board observer on 5 or 6 of our portfolio companies. I just took a board seat at Nexosome Oncology. Pretty excited about what they're working on. Don't want to get too in the weeds there, but happy to be here and happy to share perspective.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys all for coming and taking the time. So about a third of our book of business at Glassboard is venture-backed, right, of some kind, whether they're large scale or small scale, still raising actual venture money and burning it alive to try and make it to the stage where they burn their own money alive, as we talked about in the last episode. But really, it's such a different game. For all of my founders that were SaaS founders, and this is their first Hardtech company, I'm doing a ton of coaching of, guys, you can't measure the same way. You can't hit the same milestones, the timelines you think you can. Like, this isn't how it works. And for all the people that have been Hardtech that are frustrated that none of the investors are giving them money when they know they're doing the right stuff, what English to English translation can they say? So who wants to kick off on what you think is the most different thing about Hardtech versus software?
Maybe to put further guardrails on the conversation, at Elevate, when we talk Hardtech, our internal definition, it ranges from innovative polymers that are coming out of tier 1 research institutes to any commercial product that happens to have some sort of software layer or application. So across that full spectrum for us.
So what about a blender?
Yeah.
That is not a polymer, but also has no software.
Yeah. There's a circuit board in there, right?
Okay, got it.
And
what about a spatula? I'm Tot Shop.
No. We'd call that a product company.
And do you invest in products?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we do. So when we think about like the aperture of this audience, right? Like really just defining any future advice or conversation that we have around what it means when we talk about a Hardtech company. I'm gonna leave all those what I'll call deep tech companies aside.
Yep, deep tech are different.
That's a totally different. So what?
Okay, I'll bite. What do you guys mean when you say deep tech?
My go-to is government funded.
Oh, okay. Is that your?
Yeah.
Would you say
Mine's
the same
broader. Deep tech for me is a core change in either the material, like an atomic change, like this is a new battery chemistry, this is a polymer, this is a new material processing method. Like that is deep tech because it doesn't have a customer. Doesn't make sense. Like there is no human. They're like, oh, Mike Kelly is my ICP. Right? This is like, no, anyone that uses polymers is now my ICP. Right? That's deep tech. Climate tech always fits into deep tech, almost always. Now, deep tech that's climate can mature and become hard tech, but almost all climate tech starts as deep tech. It's going to take a decade of research before you even start building the product. You have to come up with a new layer of physics or a new chemistry.
Awesome.
Rabbit hole question here.
Yeah.
Where does quantum computing fall for that?
It is currently still deep tech.
That's deep
It will
tech.
become a product in the next 10 years.
Okay.
Then it's hard tech. Then people will launch quantum computing products. But
Yep.
right now, people are trying to understand how to do the core fundamental manipulation of atoms into a new state, whether it's matter or energy or
So
what they're doing.
if you're in Bell Labs, you're deep tech.
Correct.
Once you graduate, you're hard tech.
Yep, and it's one of those things, most of the time, the people that built the deep tech don't build the hard tech. It's not the same company. It's not like Microsoft's quantum computing team is the one that builds the quantum piece of hardware on your desk that you care about. They license that like they license Windows out, right?
Right on. Okay, thanks. Thank you for
Yeah.
that.
I halfway agree with that definition. And my argument would be here in Indianapolis, there's Heritage Group
Yep.
right down the road.
Yep.
They had an accelerator, and there would be companies that would come out where they would fulfill your definition of
And
hard
become
tech.
their own product company.
Exactly. So I will say this: I don't think my definition by any stretch is more appropriate or better, but it is so nebulous It's
is
like, what is a
nebulous.
founder?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that is great clarification on what we're talking about when we say like, what is Hardtech and what is?
Let me put it this way: we're talking about companies that are currently developing the product they're going to sell to an end user,
Perfect.
not the core technology that's going to become the bedrock of future technologies.
Love that.
Love it.
Is that a better, tighter definition?
I'm going to subscribe.
That was great.
Like
Yeah.
and subscribe.
That's right.
So we're talking about Hardtech, and I'm going to open this up. This is a product that has atoms in it that may or may not have electronics or software, but it is a product of some kind, right? Could be a medical device, could be a spatula, could be a bicycle. I don't really care. It could be an IoT device. That's what I'm talking about.
So maybe as a yes and or a slight variation, I would kind of throw another parameter around it, which is the business model. You know,
Okay.
you think about a business model as a SaaS product
I'm
that
gonna
has
eat
a
this alive right now.
reoccurring
I'm gonna
revenue,
eat this alive
right?
right now.
Hardtech typically doesn't have some kind of subscription model to it.
Welcome to 2025, the year of our Lord, where hardware as a service is mainstream. I sleep with Oslo sleep buds, which are Bluetooth sleep headphones that if you don't all try and you have trouble sleeping, Mike, I'm looking at you. We'll chat later. They're phenomenal. They changed my life. I bought them outright. I paid $300, $299 for them, and they came to my house in a box, and I owned them. You could also finance them on a firm or pay later or whatever. However, you also can just sign up for a subscription for $20 a month, and you have Oslo headphones. And if they break, you send them back and you get new ones, and it's $20 a month forever. Plunge is now a subscription. You can get your chiller ice bath at home on subscription. You don't finance it. You don't ever own it. It's on subscription. Hardware has woken up to the lifetime value of client.
Interesting.
That no, this is no longer a separating comment. It was invented by software, but it is now being cannibalized by hardware.
And what would you pay monthly for your spatula subscription?
Well, that's the question. What would you pay monthly for a kitchen? If OXO said, hey, we will do all of your kitchen appliances and soft goods, what would you pay monthly for your kitchen?
There is a number. That's kind of baller.
No, and then, so this is like the hardware's waking up to this because everyone's so used to reoccurring, and it's so low friction when everyone's broke today. Like, you know, the consumers, the Gen Zs they don't have any cash, but they have no problem signing up for that monthly subscription because that's all they've known, right? So you have these hardware companies that have to get, and this is a podcast for later, fund financing. Now these Hardtech companies not only have a hard time to get enough capital to build the thing, they have to go get really creative with their banking institute to have enough inventory to realize this value.
'Cause unlike the $300 you gave them up front for those headphones, they have to finance off of that $20 a month, the delta.
And,
between- yeah.
let's say, so cost of goods, right, in hardware should be 25%. That's a good round number. Different markets, different stuff. But let's say 25 points, right? So those $300 headphones, or let's make them 400 for easy math. You should spend $100 making a $400 pair of headphones, right? You then have $100 in margin for the like the company that makes them, and then you have that last $200 in margin is selling the product, whether that's going to Best Buy and retail or Amazon's 30 points plus ads to direct them there, or ads and cost acquisition. Like this is where the churn happens, right? In the finance side, that sometimes the manufacturer or product owner gets that last $200. Sometimes it goes to the parties that help sell it. So you need to borrow $100 on your $20 sale.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I gotta.
We got a new topic. We got to do more of this.
This is a more right. This is a really deep topic. Actually,
And you
because
just lost the theme of what you wanted
Yeah,
to cover.
I know.
We're not
And
going deep on this.
And I'm actually cool to do that if we just do this reoccurring.
we can get more. I just kind of wonder, like, is that durable? Does it stick around?
Feels like that could be a fad.
It, it feels like that could be a fad, and that's all I want to call out. Like, it could be something that kind of takes shape, but I think I would also argue there's subscription exhaustion.
There's fatigue in subscriptions.
Yeah.
But that's because you're old enough and you're financially stable enough to have fatigue on subscriptions because you have the luxury of not subscribing.
I think my eyes glass over, as much as I like the idea of renting a kitchen, I think my eyes glass over on that. But I will tell you, I do think there's a world in the next 5 to 10 years where I'm just going to pay monthly for my Tesla and not worry about insurance and not worry about gas and not worry about what, like I'll just subscribe to that, like for sure.
But wake up to the economy. You guys, like all of us in this room, have the luxury of being able to afford our kitchen.
Yeah.
There's a generation that can't buy houses, that they need every dollar they can't outlay capital, but they will sign away X% of their life to get this experience.
Yeah.
This is no different than the way car loans have evolved. What was the term on the car loan when you got your first car? Carl, in like 36 months?
Something like that, yeah.
Great. We all just, okay, 48 months, that makes sense.
84 months now.
Okay, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Right? No, but and then
50-year home loan, you're basically renting. Or, yeah,
no,
you don't own that
no,
thing.
you're
yeah.
worse than renting it.
Yeah,
That
you're
way, 'cause
worse than renting.
you pay for all the appliances and you're effectively renting your home. But no, all jokes aside on the economy, like I actually think this is an economically driven thing from the macroeconomics of the buyer's market, not the sellers. The Gen Z doesn't have $300 to drop in headphones like I did at 22, right? They just don't have the capital. But they definitely have $20 a month they'll never see again.
I think that's partly true. I think it's the speed in which innovation's occurring as well. You just talked about these headphones, and you drop, what did you say, $300 on it? And I would not be surprised if a year from now there's headphones for sleeping that are better than the ones that you just paid for.
I already have them.
Yeah, well, there you go. There
Yes,
you go.
I have my Soundcore Anchor A30s that have active noise canceling that I fly with.
So I think it's one thing to buy a spatula, right? It's
Right.
Or just generally, quote unquote,
Rent
the
your
kitchen,
kitchen, yeah.
right? Where we know a spatula. Well, I'm going to say this, and then I'll find the next future spatula. But we know the spatula likely will not change in the next 10 years. Cooking might change in 10 years. Let's be honest. Actually, now that I think about it, I might want to do a lease or a monthly subscription just because I know that robot's coming down the future.
Right.
But my end point is, with innovation occurring so quickly, why invest the capital if there's not a buyer on the backside? I mean, look at cell phones right now. Like when you upgrade your cell phone, your old cell phone, which still works fine, it just lags, right? There is no market for that.
For what?
For an old cell phone that lags.
Where are you?
The-
There is a humongous market. There's an entire cottage industry that's making like millions and millions and millions of dollars moving your cell phone in America to North Africa.
Let me
and-
rephrase that as a consumer. We just ended up finally releasing a tablet that we had, and the most we could get for that tablet was $25. The tablets, it turns on and it works. It takes forever for it to load Netflix. But $25 was the going market value. So as a consumer, that's not worth anything when I know a tablet is to
a brand
do
new,
bare
a
minimum.
brand new iPad is $275.
That's right.
Which is incredible, by the way, and it shouldn't be that cheap, but that's a story for another day. But so what's your point? That
My point is the speed of innovation. I believe that's a factor. I do agree with you that there's macroeconomic reasons that entering in a subscription for Hardtech or for a product company is now a theme
it's
that we're seeing.
viable now.
That's right. I do believe that is due to economic conditions, but I also think you can't rule out the speed of innovation. And folks, frankly, not knowing if a year from now I even want to own this, and if I want to get rid of it, there's no one that wants it.
And so this is like the difference between Sean Kleinschmidt, my COO, and I. I will buy a piece of tech, even if I know it's only going to last me a year, and just throw it away when I'm done because I can't be bothered to sell this on eBay. Sean ritualistically trades everything down and up. Like he's always hunting on Facebook Marketplace for deals for a slightly used thing that someone tried out and they didn't like, so he can get it for not retail, and then selling his old stuff to cash flow his addiction to technology.
He's my glassboard spirit animal.
Yeah, this is why you two get along, and I don't see what you're doing. This doesn't make sense to me. Like, well, why wouldn't you just put it in the trash can? Why would you need money for your used tech? Like, you already got the enjoyment out of it. But this is the exciting part about the Hardtech economics, because it used to be that physical goods would last you for N number of years, right? I think this is the end point you're trying to make. Right now, Hardtech might last you for N number of months. Whether that is 18 or 12 or 8, we don't know. But this is where renting instead of buying your Hardtech comes in, right? Oh,
That's
I'm
right.
going through a really stressful time in my life. I just had a newborn, and my wife and I are not co-parenting. We're taking turns, right? Someone gets to sleep tonight. Someone gets to sleep tomorrow night. I need noise-canceling sleep headphones only for the next 12 months, right? Maybe that's the thing, and which why you rent and you don't buy it.
Yeah. Yep.
So, Ben, thanks for completely derailing us.
Yeah, I'm sorry. The only
okay.
thing going through my mind right now is stuff's not made like it used to be. We just replaced a furnace rental at a rental property.
Well, and you're renting your new furnace that you just bought.
44 years old, the furnace
Oh,
was.
I bet it was a tank.
It was an absolute tank, and no, we paid for it cash. So, yeah, I mean, I think.
Well, no, you paid for it, but you know your new furnace will only last for 4 years.
Yeah.
Just to say that out loud.
Yeah. Yes, I'm aware. Unfortunately,
I bought my rental in 2015, and I put 2 HVAC units in it.
What?
Yes.
No.
Oh,
Right after the warranty expired.
When is Hardtech going to address that?
What do you mean? Why would we?
Margin.
Margin. If I make
clearly-
it last longer, I can't sell another one. There's no incentive. Even if my brand suffers, there's no incentive.
Yeah, you design for failure after warranty, which is just part of the economics, unfortunately.
And it's not just designed to failure. It is like you just don't waste money making them last longer.
So there are obviously premium brands that we know provide a superior product.
Name one.
A brand that provides a superior product?
Like one that you think has a longer warranty period, like a longer life cycle.
Sub-Zero? I'm guessing. I actually don't know.
So I
Sub-Zero?
can do a good one. So most of your home fixtures will have longer warranties. Your faucets, your plumbing, your things you install will have longer warranties because even if these things start breaking, you're going to have brand loyalty if they don't. And this is a thing that you're going to buy over and over again, and there's a very limited number of buyers or sellers in this market. Those things that are permanent are going to last longer. But your HVAC that's an appliance that like you aren't, isn't like tiled into your bathroom, this is in your furnace room. You don't remember if you bought a carrier and it crapped out last time. That was a house ago. Who's Train? You don't see these brands on TV. You don't see them in the hardware store because you're not shopping for this thing. Now, you go to pick out your fixtures for your plumbing. You go to pick out your toilet. Toto toilets, great premium example. But in product and in we'll call it the consumer products and in like equipment, you don't really think about it. Cars suffer from this. Cars actually have to last. They're the thing that you are graded on like lifetime longevity the most. And they actually spend a lot of money making them last. And ironically, they're the hardest thing to make last. So it's the weirdest dichotomy.
When I need to buy an appliance, I go to Wirecutter and Reddit, and I look for a solution that I know if I buy this, it'll last me twice as long as an inferior product and give me a better user experience.
You don't have to be fast. You said faster than the bear. You have to be faster than your best friend. Right? You don't actually have to outrun the bear. You just have to outrun the guy next to you. This has been a race to the bottom together. Again, think about your refrigerator. It's always been GE. It's always been Whirlpool. It's always been, there's 5 brand names, Maytag. Their average time to failure has dropped. Line them all up. It just goes like this. They all drop together. Now, one of them might be a year older than the other one, but they play this price arbitrage. It's all down from what it used to be. But also, there's a reason it's shorter lifetimes than they used to be, technically.
What's that?
We can now engineer to the limit. If I wanted to sell a refrigerator with a 2-year warranty, I had to overbuild things. I didn't know how to do the math to make sure it was going to break in 26 months. I had to know it at least last 24 months or I'm going to pay for it. So they always lasted 5 or 10 or 8 years because I just overbuilt everything. I didn't have the simulation tools or the test rigs or the math or the experience building this product to know how close the sun
This
is
is so dark right now.
I know. I was
this
the
is so
same.
dark.
That is the same word.
Wow.
I was
it's-
thinking.
I technically
I don't
have
like
the
talking to
ability
Grant
do
anymore.
this. 2 podcasts in a row. Sorry, guys. and Mike, you didn't even come out for drinks after the last one. It got worse.
Oh my gosh.
But no, seriously, this is a technical capability we built in hardware engineering that we are better at flying closer to the sun. You said, think how heavy cars
So
used
this
to
is
be.
why investors are not interested in Hardtech.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going too. I was like, why? What's the argument to invest in some of this stuff?
Shareholder value. The reason we engineer close to the sun is for shareholder value.
Yeah,
It's to-
sure.
it's
For
to
those
make-
that are already invested, it is to optimize. I completely agree.
No, it's for anyone in the company. The only people who are screwing over are consumers, and who cares about those guys? Jokes, guys, jokes.
Of course, we're all laughing.
Yeah, but really,
Are we?
Well, we're laughing so Grant doesn't feel uncomfortable.
oh, that's fine. No, but the way you actually
doesn't have
delight
feelings,
users,
it's fine.
No, I don't. I can turn those off like a light switch. It's really cool. But no, in real talk, if you're trying to sell a product, you have to delight users with its experience. It has to be a refrigerator that closes every time and doesn't leak, and like every day you use it is great. The user experience of how early does it break is actually quite low in the user experience like pool of your refrigerator usage. It's a very small area under the curve. So why optimize for that one big pain point when I could make everything else about it better?
So if I'm a Hardtech investor, are you implying I should be underwriting the investment with this lens of like should I be telling my founders, hey, don't gold plate that. Don't make it the best one in the market. Don't.
Gold plate it. Don't make it indestructible. That's what I'm saying. There's two different experiences. Gold plating, a user might love gold plating. It might really delight them. It might make them stand out in the lineup. If I have an LG and a Maytag and a Whirlpool all next to each other, you want to be the best user experience, the most features, the most beautiful on the showroom floor. You can't tell on the showroom floor when this breaks. Right? And it's this uncanny valley between 2 points. Big purchases like your car, you might only ever buy 5 cars in your lifetime, but it's so financially important you can't afford to get one that breaks. So you actually spend time researching and making sure and hearing from your friends. Because when one of your friends owns a BMW, I used to have one, they break early, they're expensive to fix, and they're horrible. And everyone I know that's ever owned a BMW yells about these things. And you're in two camps. You can either fix your own car and you love your BMW, or you're wealthy enough and you enjoy driving your BMW that you love your BMW, or you're in camp number 3 and you've owned one BMW and you're not going to do it again because it's too expensive for happiness. Those are your camps. I now don't drive a BMW. I drive something much more reliable and reasonable and all these things. Cars are expensive and you buy them, and they're so financially perilous to buy, you care. Other end of the spectrum, you buy a cell phone every year. You have an opportunity every year to experience quality or not. You're trialing these things out in such a short amount of time, you know if you like the last one more or not, right?
I buy a cell phone like every 3 years.
No one likes you, Mike.
I know.
Right.
But when was the last time you truly bought a refrigerator?
When we remodeled our kitchen, like not recently. Yeah.
But it wasn't such an expensive purchase. If you had one LG crap on you, but you liked the fridge, you'd probably try it again.
Yeah, you're totally right.
Okay.
It's even to go further, if the other 4 appliances in that room are LG, guess what you're buying? You're buying an LG just because you don't want the mixed brand. You don't want the,
And you're already there.
Yep.
Right. So
Totally.
this is where this uncanny valley goes. Like really cheap stuff, you actually have to be high quality because you buy them frequently enough. You understand the lifetime ownership of it. Really expensive stuff you care about. That middle 4-figure number appliance,
Okay, so this is interesting for consumer products. Does that same thing occur in med device?
So med device is different.
Yeah. Like
Let's
just
dig in.
other parts of Hardtech.
No, this is good. Because med device is 180 degrees the other way. A failure gets reported to the FDA publicly, and they stack up. This is a cumulative lifetime effect. This isn't how many failures a year do you have, which is warranty claims. That hits your P&L. FDA is every failure adds to your list. And if you don't launch new products that make you a new code, those failures can get a high number relative, but no one looks at how long your product's been out for those number of failures. So you can't have them. They're really expensive to prove it wasn't your fault. You kill somebody, you don't flood their kitchen. So you actually overspend, over-engineer, and over-test everything in med device because the cost of failure is so darn high as a company.
Are there other parts of other categories of Hardtech where you have that same dynamic at play?
Yeah, we have a customer in the oil and gas space that does some really cool stuff. And the part that we help them design goes into a function they have where you're creating an initial well, right? If their thing screws up before the well is completed, that well is dead. You've now bricked. You have to move over a couple of feet and go down again because you've now screwed this thing that you've been working on for weeks. And it's like a mid 6-figure number per failure. They make a, what is it? Yeah, they make a mid 5-figure number of units a month that just get destroyed. Every time they get used, these things, that's the last time they get used.
Mm-hmm.
So we make, tens of thousands of these things a month, and all of them have to work. Because hundreds of them get used in one well, and if one of them fails, that well has to get then re-drilled and moved, and all this bad stuff happens.
Yeah. Okay.
Does this
Great.
paint
This
this
is
picture?
this is
The
super
cost of
helpful.
failure
Yep.
is so high.
Yeah.
The cost of failure of your refrigerator's compressor conking out is not high for you or for the company.
All right. Get us back on track for original topic.
I almost don't think we should. I almost think that
Okay,
what other
okay.
questions do you guys have for Hardtech at this point? We'll just do this again. Because so this is what's fascinating. This is my world, so none of this is novel to me. So if you're investors, what misconceptions about hardware gave you the heebie-jeebies that come in and aren't the financials like we're going to do next time?
Well, I guess I'll go first, just thinking through some of the conversations had when we've underwritten some of the things we've done. So, one thing is just we'll what's the right way to say this?
Does hardware actually make money?
No, it's not that. Because there's obvious examples in the wild that you can see it makes money. It's if I'm talking to a software founder, so let's take non-technical founders out of the equation for a second. Let's just talk technical founders.
Okay.
If I'm talking to a software technical founder, in that one conversation, I feel like I can get a good grasp of this person's capability to address the technical challenges or not, address or not the technical challenges that are going to face them in the next 24 months.
Yep.
And hardware, because it, in my mind, and I think this is true, I don't think this is just my mind, it's so diverse of all the things you could potentially need to know and understand and have experiences with and gotchas with. Like there's almost no one person who I would trust if I had a conversation with Grant that I would get comfortable enough that like he knows everything that's in front of him and he's going to be able to conquer those challenges. So it's almost underwriting the technical acumen of the
technical founder
of the person you're investing in.
Yep.
That is for me is one of the big challenges.
So let me flip this on its head, because I actually think what you just said is untrue, because you are such an expert in software that you have the same opinion I'm about to have in hardware.
Ooh, hit me.
So I have the opinion of software that software is actually so diverse. There are so many different things you have to understand about launching a SaaS company, from the true, what I'm calling networking stack of like, what does your server infrastructure look like? Who are you renting from? What platform are you deploying on? How do you get it to all of your users cheaply enough that you can actually make money doing this? Then there's the, hey, how do I write efficient enough code in on what, like Substack? Like, am I writing this on Ruby? Like, what am I writing this on? There's a million flavors today. Yep. And then there's the UX UI side. Like, hey, does this founder have the ability to make users delight in using the software and human-centered design? And are they solving a real problem? Then there's the business side. Does this founder understand how to do marketing and sales and go to market? I won't belabor the rest of the things that actually goes into SaaS.
Yeah.
I am mature enough to understand that a good software founder needs to touch a little bit of the networking software side, a little bit of the actual, like, what is their tool built on, and a little bit of the user experience side. And then as long as they or someone on their team is great at sales, they'll figure this out. You should feel the same way about hardware.
Interesting.
Right? There is mechanical engineering, there's electrical engineering, there's embedded software, and there's industrial design. Right? Those are my 4 flavors that we split up how you build hardware. Then within that, there's always, hey, there's radio frequency engineering for wireless like Bluetooth and Zigbee and Wi-Fi and all that good stuff. There's power electronics. Hey, can I get my USB-C power, the right voltage to power my radio and do power electronics, or make my scooter move and move the motor controller? Those are different parts of engineering, but they're just engineering. There's then there's circuit board design, right? Like, hey, am I making a micro circuit board that's really dense, or am I making one that moves hundreds of amps for power storage for Tesla power walls? Those are different engineering, but they're just electrical engineering. Mechanical engineering. Hey, am I making a really cheap, robust, strong plastic part that we make 1 million of? Or am I making 100 really incredible 3D titanium printed things that go into space? All broad mechanical engineering topics, but they're good mechanical engineers. What you worry about in hard tech is when reality happens.
Say more.
You can, and I'm sure this happens in software. Mike, how many people come to you with a banger prototype piece of SaaS that you then have to light on fire in the backyard and rebuild from scratch to scale?
May have happened yesterday.
Okay, so like I said, banger prototype, never going to happen in a million years when you want to build more than one of them. Even more explicit in hardware in today's day and age. It didn't used to be this way. 20 years ago, you would have never, ever seen a banger prototype that you couldn't make a bunch of. Because
is that just 3D printing?
The tools have gotten too damn good.
Yeah.
Arduino plus 3D printing plus online YouTube videos.
Arduino, yeah. That was a leapfrog. Yeah.
So you have these amazing, and this is the no-code, low-code platforms that are happening today in like all of your worlds.
Yeah.
Right? That
Lovable, Replit, all that stuff.
Yep. And you can get a diet version with 100 users or 50 users running to prove that you're solving the right problem.
Yep.
You then have to tear it down and build it up.
Yep.
Right? So the thing in hard tech today that's harder than it used to be you had to be an expert to get to that stage, and then you didn't have to test the founders anymore because they knew how to scale this thing. Like, there was no way to make a circuit board that did this thing other than knowing how to make circuit boards and make them well and at scale. Today, you can like dev kit this thing in a shoebox and 3D print a case. Is this helping to open up?
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's phenomenal.
The new skill is to ask, hey, what do you know about actually scaling this core thing? The pure science risk is much more diffuse now. It used to be if you had a founder in hard tech that came in with an idea, and Jacob, I'm going to go to you because you're the usual first check-in because Elevate has to support Indiana, and you guys used to have pitch competitions, and then you had a milestone-based fundraise that's very early, so before pre-seed even, right? You used to have to bet on founders that literally had a pitch deck.
That's right.
Right. And it used to be that there was a huge gulf between the pitch deck and their first test with a user. Nowadays, you can probably give a founder one of your early milestone checks, and they or me in their help can go make them a single thing they can go try with users.
Yeah.
Amazing for hardware now. Software that's been around for a while.
Yeah.
But it used to be that if they had the thing that worked, you already passed the test. Today, you have to ask, hey, I see you've got a thing that does the stuff. What do you know about mass manufacturing? Who are you talking to? Where are you going to make this? More importantly, how are you going to test it? How are you going to validate it before you go invest in tooling and $1 million of inventory? Because we talked about last podcast, there's a bunch of money in engineering, and then there's a fistful of capital you light on fire in a 90-day span when you hit the go button.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's all about how do you build and test, not how do you engineer. Those are the questions to ask that's different. And I'm sure, let me flip the script. What are the equivalent of those questions in software? Because I know that they exist. How do you separate the person who's got a cool demo from the person that you think can scale the thing?
I mean, yeah. Now that you framed it up that way, they're probably the identical same questions. Yeah.
Hardware is.
I just don't. You're right. This is just where your 10,000 hours are. I just don't think of hardware that way, right?
Because it's such a scary black box to you.
Yeah.
Now, my black box is a lot more painful than your black box, I think, and everyone in it is an absolute masochist. But same black box.
And more expensive.
It just hurts the whole time, it's not more expensive.
It's more expensive.
It's more expensive before you have proof. That's the difference, because software actually gets more expensive later.
Yes, that's true. It's more expensive at the pre-seed stage.
Correct. Oh, 100%. And seed.
Much tighter risk tolerance.
What do you mean by that?
That software, you can be much more nimble towards the feedback you're getting during customer discovery calls.
Yeah.
Wrong.
Oh,
really?
Fake news.
No, means you're developing wrong. If you aren't doing customer discovery calls before you've committed to paths and before you've committed to technology, you're just not the better founder.
No, that is true.
Can I jump in? I take an Arduino in a 3D printed thing in a shoebox, and I go do customer discovery. That cost me 3 weekends and 2 cases of beer to make. I go get real feedback. No founder does this.
I think what Jacob is saying, just to put a finer point on it, I don't want to put words in your mouth, so tell me if I'm getting this wrong. But I can demo something for you on my laptop right now. You can give me feedback, and I can change it in front of you while you're watching and say, do you mean like this?
So can I.
No, you can't. You got to go back and 3D print the new thing.
Nope, because most of our connected experiences actually are software and hardware together, and I can change software
Well, that's what we're saying. Software you can change
Yeah. Well, let me go hardware. We do this all the time. I will show up to a user discovery call with a different wrapper for the product, a different 3D printed case. So ironically, all of my electronics are in a shoebox over here,
off to the
Wizard
side.
of Oz.
Yeah.
And I have the device, and I say, hey, put this on your shoulder, go running with this, and tell me how it felt. Really, I have the device over here doing the magic. They're like, hey, this one's actually too big. I swap it out.
Is there a version of this test where I have to force you to run next to me if I go run for 5 miles?
We do it. Do you want to hear the best one? So Hammerhead lets us share this. So Hammerhead makes GPS bike computers.
Yeah.
And we were working on GPS modules for them, and this was years ago in their last generation. And we rented a U-Haul truck, and in the bed of the truck, we had a big plexiglass sheet that was maybe 3 by 4 foot, and literally Velcro to that sheet were different development kits from different GPS vendors, from Sony to Telit to all these vendors, and we drove a loop around town with an RTK module, which is a more accurate GPS that you have to have a base station, and we set this all up, and we ran the same loop over and over again with all these same radios in the same bed of this truck to see which ones were more accurate, drew less power, more all this stuff, dealt with urban canyons between buildings or in forests better. You can absolutely do this. Is that a good example of literally trying more than one thing all at the same time?
I think that, I love that example, and that's
because you could have ridden a bike.
That's
next to
definitely a
this
good
truck.
strategy of de-risking, but I don't think that's the same thing that Jacob was saying.
Yeah. Thank you, Mike. Maybe a better way to articulate what I was trying to say here, Grant, is to begin selling and converting from validation, from interviewing potential customers, to actually handing a solution to a customer
For money.
for money.
So I want to triple click into this. That is the big difference.
Yeah, that's right. So, in I will layer on top the margins as well. Obviously, for software, far greater.
Infinite.
That's right. So the risk profile of going from the quote unquote 0 to 1.
Oh, so much harder in hardware.
That was the point is. For investors too, they see that.
So I want to separate then the words customer discovery.
Let me just make one more final point on it. One thing that the three of us harp on is power law.
Okay.
And no one has infinite money, so they need to determine allocations of capital that they have. And in order to exercise power law, it's a lot easier when going from 0 to 1 costs a fraction in software than it does in hardtech. And so that if you have two founders, both of them have the 10,000 hours and they're experts in their domain, and you see the hockey stick financial projections for both of them, they both come to you with the same type of market validation.
Yep.
The one with software, though, will look better purely from the standpoint that chances are they need less money to get there.
100%. There's only one difference on the back half of that. Your hardware founder, if they make it, is far less likely to be supplanted before you get paid out.
Yeah.
Like, you can have a software, like I'm sure you're all invested in this. You have, all three of you have software investments, or have had software investments, because they no longer exist,
First movers don't always win.
that blow up. Their revenue, their ARR is off the charts. They are just crushing it. And they're, you know what, they had an offer to get bought, and they said no because they're on such a tear. And you're like, back them, yeah, don't sell yet. You guys are, let's do this. 9 months later, competitor 2 walks into the door and takes all of their lunch, and they literally sell for debt. Tell me this hasn't happened.
Yes.
Now, this does happen in hardware. I'm not going to say they're immune to this. It is so much harder. to
It's
get
the
your lunch
moat.
eaten. It's a moat. It's a deeper moat.
Yeah. It's the same chasm that the founder needed to cross in order to secure enough capital to get from 0 to 1 is the same chasm that any competitor would need to also face.
Can I add color to that? It makes purchases much more likely because it's so much easier to buy the company that already did it than to try and do it yourself. Because even if you're copying someone's actual products. They have bad patents, right? Where people hire me to do this all the time. There's still so much more risk in copying that than just paying them their multiple. It is so much easier to justify buy me instead of compete with me in hardware.
That's fair in software as well, particularly when a software company is on a tear and they're gobbling up new customers.
But that's from a sales perspective. Mine's actually from the tech perspective. It is really easy.
No, in the tech for software too. Like it's yes.
I want to ask Mike on that.
I mean, he knows a lot about software too. I'm happy to.
No, but you develop software for money, and you probably get paid to copy stuff. I'm actually asking from the same perspective as mine.
I got you.
As a consultant. From an investor, I want to hear your point later, but I really want to hear, you're developing software with teams every day.
Frame the question for me again, fresh.
Okay, we're company A, who is not in this room,
Yep.
is on a tear, and they've uncovered a new market. It's Uber.
Yep.
I want you to go copy Uber for me.
Okay.
This is 3 years after Uber launched. I need you to go copy Uber. What is
Yeah.
your technical risk? Not your marketing or sales risk.
Wow. I mean, it's so rare in software for it to actually be a hard technology problem. It's so. If you look at most B2B software, I'm making up numbers on the fly. 90% of it, if not 95% of it, has zero technical risk at all. Zero. Now there's execution risk. The difference.
Technical execution risk or sales and marketing execution risk?
No. Technical execution risk.
Okay.
So I want to be clear. There's always whenever you're writing code, just like any engineering, there's always risk. People can make mistakes.
It's hard.
But if you look at Uber is actually a beautiful example. There's no technology, particularly today. There's no technology innovation there. It's it's a business model innovation.
Correct.
Right? Uber was not hard to write when it was written originally. It was very simple.
Right. But this is where
the code is simple.
This is where I'm trying to go. Even if someone invents a new spatula, back to our example, there is significant technical and time delay, technical risk in developing the copy of that spatula.
That is only the case in software if you have a team that doesn't know how to execute. That's execution risk in my mind. There's not a lot of technical risk.
And for something as simple as a spatula, yes, and the same in hardware. But for anything that's as complex as a connected IoT device, that's actually not quite that simple.
Maybe.
No, but that's what I'm saying in hardware. Like,
in hardware, I believe that 100%.
that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
That,
In
like,
hardware, yes.
Even if you had a crack team.
Sorry, I was thinking of software. Yeah.
No,
yeah,
even if you had a crack team, there's still a thing they could screw up that could push you back 9 months of delay, which means you've lost your market.
Yeah, and that is I shouldn't say that.
But we're talking about bell curves. It's out of the standard deviation of software.
Way
It's firmly in the
easier,
middle in
way easier
hardware.
to ameliorate in software.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Jacob, back to you. We were talking about how you think the moat in hardware is deeper, but you don't see a bunch of copy on software stuff.
Wait, we see copycat software stuff
Yeah.
every day.
Okay. Yeah, what do you mean?
So I'm trying to go back to our point that you're trying to make about that.
The point is we do see acquisitions occur to buy the software, where it is, for all intents and purposes, the company is not performing year over year with the kind of growth that would typically give off venture-backed returns, but they end up getting an acquisition that is a venture-backed acquisition because the acquiring, take your pick, private equity firm or corporation wants to acquire the software.
The software, or they think they can make that sales and marketing engine just work better. Because I actually want to separate these two entities. Because in hardware,
Sales and marketing engine, they actually don't give a shit about the software.
right. My answer is in hardware, they will buy the company purely for the technology.
I want to do one small caveat to that.
Yeah.
Actually, there, the caveat that immediately occurred to me as soon as that idiot statement came out of my mouth is for products that have actually really truly cracked the nut on user experience.
Yeah.
So much so that that it becomes a hidden ingredient. I don't think that's true. But again, that is a very rare thing.
And I follow that. 'Cause that's industrial. You bought the industrial design of the
Yeah,
product.
well said.
That
Well
exists.
said. Yeah,
That
well
ID,
said.
UX, UI, these are interchangeable hardware software terms.
Well said. Yeah.
So to answer your like to talk about this, what's so different in hardware is there's actually such a value in the technology. Let's pretend we had a company that was going gangbusters, that was throwing off crazy multiples in sales. You'll have a corporate buy them not because of their sales. They'll buy them because they want that technology, because in their sales engine, they can do it even better. They'll outbid venture returns or PE returns to get this core technology in because it is so different.
You're talking about using the intellectual property or trade secrets and applying it towards other products.
Yeah, this is where I'm going. That this is what's different about hardtech than software. This is even bringing the most basic IoT thing to market has so much more trade secret value than even mediumly complex software. And Mike, this is where you and I are
Because I can
question.
immediately rattle it off, like battery life and
Or
temperature sensitivity,
supply chain.
supply chain. Yeah, like all those hidden things you don't even see when you see hardware.
Correct.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep, and it's not that that another firm, another glass board, couldn't go co-develop or copy this thing. It is how much risk and how much time it's going to be from today until that launches.
Yeah.
Even if you're copying.
Yeah. Yes, I agree with everything you're saying. I think the other variable, to go back to the theme of investor risk, is the multiples that are applied to hard tech and product companies relative to software companies.
Do we think that's going to be true going forward?
I don't know.
Because my suspicion is that's not going to be real anymore.
I don't know. Was it Microsoft CEO that said software is dead or SaaS is dead? Yeah, I don't know. Sitting here on January 8th,
I don't think we're ever going to see multiples like we used to see.
Okay, but
year
we're
was we
still
used to
seeing. We're still
2020,
seeing,
well,
2021
2021, yeah, 2021 and 2 are
no.
Zerk dollars. But
we're still
but
right now seeing 7x multiples for what I'll call traditional SaaS companies. We're still seeing 7x's. And for hard, well, you tell me, Grant, what are you seeing in hard tech?
Well, 7x what?
Multiple on revenue.
Top line.
Annual.
Revenue. I was like, EBITDA, yeah, that sounds totally irrational.
Yeah. What we're seeing in hard tech.
We don't talk about rational numbers in software.
I know you don't.
You know, let's just talk
Fairy
product
tale
companies. Let's not even talk
Fairy tale guys.
software hard tech. In a product, a barbecue sauce company, right? Those are getting 2 to 3x
on revenue.
top line.
Yeah, no, that rings true.
Yep.
Like seeing that on top line makes sense.
Start a barbecue company.
Yeah.
Start another software company. Keep
Seriously?
swinging it for the fence.
If I can get a 2 to 3x on barbecue sauce, like that sounds easier than software.
Well, no, but you actually have to make revenue.
Yeah.
Mike, on your barbecue sauce.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
That's the problem.
That would be a problem.
How much barbecue sauce can you buy?
Yeah. No, and this is the hardware chasm that you and I debate all the time. Is like it takes so much more money up front before this proof, which should be higher returns. It should be a higher payback because you're taking way more risk.
So give me your best pitch right now as an angel investor. Why should I even include Hardtech as a percentage of my portfolio?
Other than that you think it's cool?
Yeah, I don't think it's
Yeah,
cool.
no,
I think money is cool.
yeah.
I'm an investor.
The reason to do it right now, and let me bifurcate this. I'll say the average case first, and then let's go talk about the new stuff coming down the pipeline.
Yeah.
So the average
I love
case
it.
of Hardtech in general, this is your cell phones and your MP3 players and your blenders, and just regular product.
Yep.
MP3 players was this device from about.
Yeah, exactly. But I just want to do like I wanted to set the bar that low, right? This is your stuff, your tchotchke stuff you're selling at Best Buy. The reason you invest in that is the same reason you invest in SaaS, that it has its own special rate of return, which is when you get stuff that goes, it goes. The moat is big, it's protectable. Once you make it over the chasm, I think there's actually less risk because they're real businesses. Because they don't make it over the chasm if they're not a real business.
Yeah.
This is you aren't going to be falling onto a C round that doesn't make you money.
How many one-hit wonder? Sorry, I'm totally derailing you. How many one-hit wonders in the hardware space are there?
Well, one-hit wonders in that the product only made one version that made the investors boatloads of money.
And then they were just gone.
And then
they just disappeared.
That happens all the time.
It does.
But the investors
Okay.
made a boatload of money.
Okay.
This is where I'm trying to separate this thing that happens in SaaS. SaaS will explode, go raise even more money, and then tank it before
Disappear.
anyone gets paid.
Yeah.
Hardware will throw off dividends that are so big when they go big that the original investors are just dividend made whole.
There's a lot of similarities between hardware and life science.
Like 100%. Well, because it's all real. Even SaaS for life science has to have a tangible outcome in the real world.
Yep.
Yeah. So when you make it, you start printing money.
Yeah. One big difference between life science and hardware is the regulatory requirements. You have
Correct.
a life science hardware, you're going to have that regulatory requirement
Yep.
and the technical due diligence you got to get through. But in life science, the science has got to work and you got to get through the regulatory.
Correct. And that exists for medical. So where I was going in hardware, there's the everyone case, which we just talked about, right? That when you make it, it's an operating business. You can still fail. You still have operational error. Also, but if you make it, the investors usually either make enough money literally owning a fraction of this company that's throwing off profit, or they get gobbled up by a corporate. Because corporates actually can make this thing make more money. Unlike SaaS, Microsoft can't make.
Yeah, Samsung buying a startup, they have the engine, which is the go-to-market exclusive.
No, screw go-to-market. You have a hardware startup that is blowing up D2C sales, that is printing money. They literally can't make widgets fast enough. Samsung owns factory
They can
that
make
make
the
widgets
widgets.
for
Oh,
1/100th of the
Yeah,
cost.
see, I don't even see that shit. That's so
yeah,
well.
they
yeah,
own the
nice.
silicon. Yeah,
We saw that with SmartApply.
Yeah.
This time last year, I remember walking around CES, and there was John Deere's mega booth, and walking through it with all the tractor equipment, and sure enough, there was SmartApply.
Really?
yeah.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't know that. Was it on the Gust or the? They had another platform they partnered that with. There was an automation that they were selling.
Let's pretend
Sorry.
like our listener doesn't know what the two of you are kibitzing about.
Yeah.
Jacob, do you want to provide a little background?
A shared portfolio company that ended up selling to John Deere, and
Right
then
on.
to the point of getting this new stage, quite literally,
Yeah.
this new stage.
yeah.
It was a hard tech too. And I would call
That's
that
right.
hard tech.
It's a hard tech company.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Nice.
So that's that scale difference, right? That why you get acquired more likely, because it's not a sales and marketing engine that is the reason you're getting acquired. It's not that their sales is better than yours, their marketing engine is better than yours. It is that not only do they need your core tech if you're doing something innovative, they can just make your COGS, cost of goods, your timeline to market, your manufacturing supply, they can make that all melt away. Because it's very inefficient to build hardware at low volume. It's very costly.
I think we should come back to smart.
To what?
Smart Guided, actually, because
Is this ag company?
yeah, this is
Okay.
the ag company. I think it was interesting, but we started off this entire session with like, what does it take to invest in something?
Yeah.
We invested in that.
Why? On what metric?
We invested on it because it was a solid thesis. We had a chance to talk to farmers that were using it, so end customer discovery, and I mean, basically to set it up a little bit, the company had a LiDAR technology that was joint developed with USDA, and they could put it on the front of a tractor that would assess the tree density and determine whether or not the tree was there, how dense the tree was, and then run it through an algorithm that would tell you, that would control the sprayers on the backside.
How much pesticide or fertilizer to spray?
That's right. Yeah. So they could prevent the spray, or they can pulse spray it and get adequate coverage. And the interesting piece was the current standards today were turn the sprayer on,
Spray it off.
drive down the row, and that was it.
Yeah.
Like there was no control. So
The bar was low, as one might say.
the bar was low, but there was adequate customer discovery. And, we had a farmer that was telling us they saved $800,000 the first year that the day one that they
And that's
used
in
it.
just material cost, not in value.
No, it was in water cost.
What?
Yeah. It was in water. Water's the primary delivery for pesticides and
Yeah.
fungicides. So
And there's so much volume of water per
Right.
instead of grams of pesticide you
Right.
dissolve in the water. Oh,
right,
that's
so,
fascinating.
So it prevented overspray. It prevented, you're not getting pesticides in the water streams, and
Well, and that's just the ethical good.
checks a lot of So there was an ethical alignment.
Wait,
there
you don't
was
care
a
about that
customer-
stuff. Don't start acting like
It sells.
I love you.
I'll be here all week, Mike.
Man.
He's the best.
I just said the quiet part out loud, Mike.
Did I capture all that?
No, but
Is
that's
that-
excellent.
No, I think you did, Ben, and just I've been sitting over here through the whole conversation thinking like this really software, hard tech, life science. You brought it up. I mean, it comes back to just first principles. Is the problem
Yep.
severe enough?
That's right.
And then it's a little bit for the investor. The way I've heard it best, it is at bats. How many times have you been pitched? And it's no different than how many times have you bought a used car and you learn what the sales cadence looks like, and you learn how to negotiate, and you'll learn the process. But that's like hard tech software. It is show me a founder that truly 10,000 hours truly understands how to solve for a problem that people want solved. It's a severe issue. It's requires medicine, not vitamins. And then let's go, right? Those three ingredients: founder, problem, solution. Having those working is rare enough where if you have enough at-bats, you see how rare it is when you have those three ingredients. That's where these what I would consider to be outside risks that are associated with hard tech or associated with life science, which also then sets up for outsized returns when these things work. All those fall in alignment when those three elements are all working. And then obviously the other ingredients fall into place, total
Yeah.
addressable market, and so on.
Yes, and I agree with all of that. And I think you also, Grant, you asked a question like, what is an investor? What do you need to say to an investor to get access to capital? There's no silver bullet.
We know.
I think that the yes and here is you have to also find an investor that's aligned with the mission of the problem being solved.
Well, then how do you find hard tech investors is the next question. Because
You
I've been
need-
in this for a decade,
You
15
need to-
years, and
you
there's
need to
like
ask them,
three of my favorite friends that touch the space are
Right.
in the room.
What are you passionate about? What do you want to solve? What's worth solving?
Well, and so digging
Those,
in,
those are founder questions that should be asked of the investor.
I agree. So digging into this,
I got an answer directly for you. Those that are investing in this is a generalization, but mostly true. And check me on this, Mike and Ben.
Gotcha.
Those that invest in life science opportunities,
Also do Hardtech.
those that invest in life science opportunities are ones who work in life science. Those who invest in software are those that made their money in software.
Yeah. They have their
Hardtech,
10,000 hours in that thing.
exactly.
That's right.
Yeah, or maybe they've had an exit.
Right. Well, and so I want to. There's two topics I just heard that are really important to separate. So what you mentioned in most of your soliloquy was the right founder. Right. The right founder finds the right problems. They find the right solutions, and they are the right founder. Right. I just want to actually say the quiet part out loud.
Yeah, we would all agree to that across the board.
But I'm saying this for listeners. Actually, we all know people that we're trying to coach that are not the right founder that actually have stumbled across a really good idea to get out of their own way. And I want to say this out loud. If you are pitching what you believe is the right market with the right TAM, with the right numbers on the page, and no one is giving you money, you might be the problem. And I want to say this out loud in public so people can hear this, and I'm not calling anyone out. I have so many companies that come across my door in the last 10 years that I'm like, I would literally close Glassboard today. Not even sell it. I would just close the doors. I would personally go out of my savings, pay everyone a salary until I can raise money on this idea, because I think I could raise money on this idea so successfully to make this company happen. I can't believe this person is dropping the ball because they don't know how to talk to investors. They just aren't in the zone. They don't have 10,000 hours in the hardware or the software if they're a software company. They're missing these core clicks, is the word I want to use, as a founder. And that is so separate from the questions I was setting this podcast up for, which are, what are the revenues that equal ARR at every stage that you need to check at a pre-seed, seed, Series A from software to hardware? What are these metrics that should exist in your pitch deck? And I want to separate those two because from what I heard from you, and I've heard from you in the past, and Mike, you as well, the founder is so separate from the opportunity or the technology that sometimes you'll back great founders on mediocre technology and problems.
Totally. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, we've kind of capitulated on this in a couple of other episodes around coachability and how that word gets thrown around so much, and it's been a little bastardized on what it means to be coachable, where you'll sometimes see academic examples of entrepreneurial coachability as just falling over and just taking
following directions.
Yeah, following directions as taking what's in front of you. But what I have found, and I would say for Ben and Mike, just generally from our conversations, what coachability really looks like, and you guys yes and or argue with this, is that coachability is more about being adaptive. Mm-hmm. It's bringing in all those inputs and then processing them and doing something with that information.
Different than just following that information's directions.
Exactly.
So there's a little bit of danger here, and I want to throw a little bit of caution.
Like Danger Zone, the song should be playing.
That's right, Danger Zone. If whoever's editing this, bring it in, Top Gun. Fly. There you go. We're going karaoke.
Whoa.
Karaoke after this?
No. Someone's looking for a lawsuit.
Oh, that's so good.
The danger is that you get opinions coming at you from a lot of different sources.
Yes.
And you might get the right advice at the wrong time, or you just might get wrong advice.
I get that all the time.
And you have to choose on which to give it, right?
Guaranteed to get bad advice if you are a founder. It is guaranteed.
Twice so if you talk to me.
You're going to get a lot of bad advice.
That's right.
Yes.
And to be clear, bad advice is literally the opposite of what you should do.
Not even a little off kilter.
Yes.
From investors too.
Yeah, Jacob,
Yeah,
what you should do
that's right.
what you should do is stop selling B2B and go direct to consumer.
That's right.
Yes.
Mike,
Yeah.
I think you should pivot your consultancy into hardware.
I don't think that's going to end well for me.
Oh, man. Well, I think
Was that an acquisition offer, by the way?
we can figure this out. I mean, there's a price I'll pay for DT.
I
You
may
might not like
want
it.
that
but
price.
there's I have a price. Well, no. So everyone listening, guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us. All of you in the room here, thanks for joining. I
Oh,
think
to be
this'll-
continued. This was so much fun.
This wraps up a good, solid episode, but this requires a third episode where we actually talk about investment in hard tech and not just markets and how do you quantify all this. So thank you all for listening, and thank you guys for coming.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Grant.
Awesome.